Well, hi, we have an audience member today.
We do.
Hello, and welcome to Find Out Nation. I'm one of your hosts, Jamie.
I'm one of your hosts, Nicole.
And this
that's
is our other audience member, Betty
Yeah,
White, who
Betty
is here to
White.
share her opinions with you. Just so you
Hi,
know, I have
Betty.
chicken nuggets on my desk, and that's really the only reason she's
That's
here,
exactly
is
right. She's
love
like,
of
give
chicken
me one
nuggets.
right now.
Indeed, you are
Yeah.
exactly right. She's like, this is how you make me go away. Okay, we are here on Find Out Nation with the podcast that discusses what happens when a country fucks around. They find out. Yes. So, Nicole, where is our countdown?
We're at 5:38 before
Oh, we're
midterm,
getting
so we're below
closer.
5:40. I think
Nice.
that's an excellent thing. We're at
It is.
5:38.
Yep.
113 days in.
Oh God, 113 days in
I
is just
know.
nothing.
I feel like we're just crawling. I literally
Yes.
we're crawling.
Yes, we are literally crawling. We are. Oh my God, this is just depressing.
Yeah.
Okay. We have some interesting tales today. Donald Trump is in the Middle East. There is a brand new pope. There was a brand new bill introduced today. We have all sorts of different, strange, and unusual topics to cover. But I would like to cover the big one that was just announced today, if that's okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
It is the one big, beautiful bill. Okay.
Yes.
Can we first talk about the title? Like how weird it is.
We literally talked about this last week, that I was so sick of every time he can't come up with something. It's beautiful. It's he just is so unintelligent.
I know.
The man is so unintelligent.
So the funny thing is that this is, I think from what I could read, it was Mike Johnson that really titled the bill as an homage to President Trump. And I'm just saying that if someone is trying to pay me respect and says, oh yes, she's the big, beautiful podcaster, I'm going to be shove it up your ass, right? Like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Punch you in the face.
That's literally. Right. I will throw punch you, which my husband pointed out to me this weekend. I don't actually know how to throw a punch anyone, but I will learn how. I will watch a YouTube video.
It's just a quick jab, right?
Yeah, I don't really know that. Throat. Right. I could get mugged tomorrow. I don't know what I would do, but I'm just saying, like, I will learn how if someone tries to call me a big, beautiful bill.
Practice makes perfect.
Let's talk about what is in the contents of this bill. And we would be remiss if we didn't say that the contents of this bill is likely to change. Like, they just introduced this like Monday, I think it was.
Yeah.
So the chances are that this is going to be the bill that actually gets passed is slim to none. But with that said,
like, here's what's in it.
Yeah. I know. And Mike Johnson has mentioned that he wants to get this signed by Memorial Day, which Memorial Day is like coming up in 2 weeks.
2 weeks. Yeah.
Yeah. So it would take a big act of Congress to be able to get
them to agree on all of this.
Exactly. Exactly. So the big items, of course, are the Trump tax cuts from his first go around, where basically it's, limiting the taxes, of course, on the wealthy and giving them the biggest breaks. But also it included things like removing taxes on tips and removing some taxes on other things that were smaller that he had spoken about. But the big ones were no tax on tips and no tax on overtime. So, with the no tax on tips, it does say that any company or any payment that's qualified as a tip, the tip amount must be paid voluntarily. It's not subject to negotiation. It's determined by the payer. So really, in all intents and purposes, like, tips are pretty straightforward. The other item that was a big item was no tax on overtime. And so there's an above the line deduction for any overtime pay during the tax year, which is going to be interesting how they implement that, since likely they're going to have to, make sure that they're reporting those on W-2s and things like that. So all of those are interesting. The things that were a little less positive, we'll say less positive, of course, there's a section that is like investing in or tax relief for rural America and Main Street. And they are repealing or removing every single like energy or electric vehicle benefit that people qualify for. And it's very clear to me that it's like, hey, so they're trying to give additional money to rural communities, which, listen, you and I have talked about how
Yeah.
farmers are struggling under
Yeah.
the Trump regime. And again, we are still calling it the Trump regime.
Mm-hmm.
And so I love the idea of trying to come up with dollars that we can specifically give to those communities. But with that said, like the way they're paying for it, period point blank, is to remove every single tax credit for every single climate change, climate embracing project that has ever gone in. So, they're getting rid of, you know, the tax cuts for clean
Solar
fuel.
panels and like that kind of
Yes,
stuff.
solar
Yeah.
panel. Yes,
Yeah.
exactly right. Clean vehicles and commercial clean vehicles and alternate fuel vehicles and all of this kind of thing. And it's just in my mind is really depressing that like that's where Trump is hiding this, is saying that rural Americans don't care about environmental concerns. And
Mm-hmm.
so let's fuck over the environment again so that we can
Right.
take care of this rural America. The other big one is the preventing fraud, waste, and abuse, where we are now going to force our Medicare and Medicaid
Mm-hmm.
users to reaffirm every like twice a year instead of once a year that they qualify. They now have to confirm that they're working 80 hours a month to qualify for benefits. And there's a section in the bill that removes a lot of the funding from the federal government and then is again leaving this up to the states. To be honest, I didn't read the entire bill
Mm-hmm.
cover to cover yet because again, it just came out. But it was a hard enough hit on Medicare and Medicaid recipients that Josh motherfucking Hawley
Came out
came
against it.
out and said, this is immoral for us to do this.
Yeah.
Did you see that?
I did see that. Yeah. And I have some number. I mean, I have some rough numbers on it. Um, but yeah, I did. And so that's when it's like, now I have to agree with this motherfucker.
I know.
Like this asshat who was fist in the air, to the January Sixers on his way into the building that day and then running like a fucking coward
Yep.
later that day when they were storming the Capitol. Like now I have to side with this fucking jackass. Like
Yeah, but only on this one
only
thing.
on this one thing. Yeah.
Yes.
Well, and oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, no, go ahead.
What you were saying about the state, like how they were going to push some of that to the state, I did see a number that said that in the bill they're restricting state provider taxes, which is a major Medicaid financing tool that would see 8.6 million people affected
Yeah.
because they're reducing it. So people are going to lose their healthcare coverage. The one thing
Yes.
he said he wasn't going to touch, wasn't going to do, wasn't all the things. And here we
Okay.
go.
You are 1000% correct. They said that not only are people going to lose healthcare, but they're also going to lose the ability to access healthcare because they're also cutting the number of, the funding to doctors and
Like the
to
coverage,
the
like the
to the
benefits
coverage
or whatever.
benefits. Exactly.
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
We should tell people I am running on about 3 hours sleep.
Yes.
So while I'm normally like a little bit
Really on it.
absent-minded, I'm even worse today. So
No.
apologies if I sound like a raving lunatic or a moron, but Nicole's going to have to like remind me of words more often. And I'm not having, an episode of any kind. Okay. The other thing
Yeah.
that I was reading about in this thing is that, there are 529 accounts which you can use for sending your kid to higher education.
Yeah.
Now you will be able to do tax exempt distributions to use for lower education schools. So like private schools is the way I'm reading this.
What?
And there is also a new MAGA account called the
What?
Money Accounts for Growth and Advancement, a new kind of savings account designed to incentivize education, entrepreneurship, and homeownership while promoting financial security. The accounts are administered by a bank or similar financial institution, and the overall program is overseen by the Department of Treasury. Starting January 1, parents of any child under the age of 8 may open a MAGA account for their child. And
What?
those contributions, they can contribute up to $5,000 annually of after-tax dollars. And then those funds can be used after the age of 18 for higher education, training programs, small business loans, or first time home purchases. Okay, once again, I don't hate having an account
the
that
idea of it.
parents can create for their students.
Yes.
I also want to say that, like, that's the whole point of a 529 account. So why
Yes.
not just expand a 529 account?
Right.
Because we want an account that is called
It's
a
called
MAGA
MAGA.
savings account.
Yeah, because it's all going to tie back to him so he can, you know, beat his chest and feel like big man on campus.
Yep.
It's all about the ego
Yeah.
stroke.
Yeah. So anyway, I just wanted you to know that because I thought that was
Well,
amusing.
it's really unfortunate that my kid is 22 and I won't be able to open her a MAGA account because I was going to jump
And
right
I'm
on
sorry,
that fucking train.
but how many like middle class Americans have $5,000 they can contribute to an account every year?
Bitch, I never even had a 529 account for Riley.
So I
Because
have
I
a
didn't have,
I have a
I didn't have any
529
extra
account
money.
for Jackson that has all of like $1,000 in it.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, I'm like, you know, just raising a kid is expensive enough for crying
Yes.
out loud.
Yes.
And to your point, like, are you fucking kidding me? That like, again, this is a clear, like,
Yeah.
the wealthy get to put aside
Yep.
$5,000 a year for 18 years so that when that person graduates, they have a whole shit ton of money that they can access tax-free to buy
Yep.
their first home. Like, it's that simple. And
Yep.
anyway, it's just infuriating. You and I think we'll spend the next week or 2 weeks going through more of this big, beautiful
Bill, especially
bill
as it changes. Yeah.
and then trying to keep
Yeah.
up with changes. And we will come back to you guys to discuss. But I did want to at least like bring up some of these big items
Yeah.
that we are tracking, especially the impacts to Medicare and Medicaid, because I mean, to me, that's going to be the one that has the biggest impact
Mhm.
to our, you know, most vulnerable citizens.
Yeah.
Okay. So speaking of people doing things and having to agree with people that you don't want to have to agree
Oh
with.
God. Yeah. Who now?
Donald Trump did introduce a plan or an executive order to lower pharmaceutical costs.
Oh.
This has been on the far left talking points for years.
Mhm.
Bernie Sanders, Elizabeth Warren have all spoken on the virtues of lowering pharmaceutical costs.
Yeah.
So while I give the man credit, can we talk about the absolute unhinged moment that he explained why the pharmaceutical company, like how it dawned
Yeah.
on him that this was a problem?
That this was an issue. Yeah, because the man's
He was
clearly never had to fill a prescription.
never. He is at a press conference today. Was it today that he signed the order?
Or yesterday. I don't remember, but yes,
It doesn't matter.
in the last day or two. Yeah.
And then and either yesterday or today, he is talking about how drug prices are through the roof. And he says, I've got a very...
As if this revelatory. As if
As
no
if
one
this
else
is
in
revelatory.
America has a fucking clue that this is just
that
out of control.
pharmaceutical prices are out the goddamn window because they are so
Yeah.
insane. So he's talking to reporters and he says, I have a brilliant friend. I have a really successful, brilliant friend who's fat. By the way, he's fat. And he's a fat friend and he's brilliant and successful and you know him, but he's fat.
And he just couldn't quit saying it. Like
yes, he says it multiple times.
Yes,
and
yes.
you and I have both like struggled with our weight. And so
Yes.
like if I got up at a press conference and was like, I have a podcast host friend who has struggled with her weight and sometimes she was fat. Like, you know, she like,
oh my God.
I would expect you to like divorce me. Like, or throat punch me once again. Like, this is an opportunity for throat punching someone. Like, clearly.
Yes. Like,
So,
oh my God. Yeah.
He's like going on and on about how this friend is fat.
This person is.
That's right. And then he's like, he's in London and he takes the fat shot, you know, the fat shot. And in London, he pays $88, but in America, he pays $1,300, which I take the Mounjaro shot.
Me too.
I take a compound.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you and I both know, like
Yeah.
I was luckily able to move to insurance companies that cover my, and I take Zepbound. So I was able to cover my fat drug, but for an entire year, I was paying it out of pocket. I had a coupon and I was still paying over $800 a month for these drugs that I have been able to lose half my body weight through
Right.
taking. Like that's how successful these drugs have been, with
Yeah.
very few side effects for me, and I think very few side
Yeah.
effects for you.
Yeah.
So it's, the point is not wrong that yes, we pay so much for drugs that are readily available in other parts of the world. And of course, we're
Mhm.
talking about like somewhat elective drugs, although I would argue to say that like fat
Mhm.
prevention is extremely beneficial
Yes.
to society. But
Yes.
with that said, like I have other friends that take heart drugs and drugs
Yep.
for the rheumatoid arthritis and
Cholesterol and
right,
yeah.
exactly, that are still hundreds or thousands of
Yes.
dollars a freaking month. And
Yes.
so I'm all on board. But can we please stop calling each other fucking fat
Fat
all the time?
and the fat shot drug, it has a name. Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, yeah,
Yeah.
that's yeah, like
Yes.
I'm on the compound because my
Yes.
insurance doesn't cover it, but my husband's on lots of meds because he's on
Yeah.
seizure meds. He's got
Because
a heart.
we're old. We're all
Yes,
fucking
because we're
old.
old. He's got
You're
cholesterol
taking a
meds.
statin. You're taking a
Yeah,
blood pressure medication. You're taking
literally.
diabetes. Like we're
Yes.
all fucking old.
Yes, and
Yes.
he's got the heart aneurysm, like there's all these things. And thank God for Mark Cuban
Yeah.
because I'm getting his prescriptions filled now through Cost Plus Drugs
Yep.
because getting them filled and not running it through our insurance because running it through our insurance at CVS, it's night and day different in costs.
Yeah. Okay. So you and I were talking before this.
Yeah.
Who do we think is Trump's fat
Who
friend?
is the beautiful fat friend that is
Right.
taking the fat shot?
Okay. So Twitter is exploding that it's
Shut
Elon
up.
Musk.
Tell me. Oh,
Yes. Like everyone swears it's
that
Elon
it's
Musk,
Elon?
which,
But Elon's on ketamine. Ketamine,
well,
whatever.
and you and I both like, no, he's not slim. But
Yeah,
if he
but
were to take a presidential medical, what is it?
the fitness or the
Physical. If he
physical,
took
yeah.
the presidential physical, he'd probably clock in at 228 pounds as well. You know what I'm
Totally.
saying?
And at the top of peak fitness, like Trump.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Indeed. He would be 6'7" and
Yeah.
228 pounds, just like
100%.
Trump was. So
Yeah.
I'm just saying, like, at the end of the day, I'm like, are we there? Because he doubled down that this friend is fucking fat when he's like, oh, I have a fat friend who, by the way, the drugs aren't working for. Like he literally at a press conference is like, yeah, my fat friend is on the fat shot and it's not working, by the way. Like I would throw punch a
So
bitch.
I
Like,
would, yes, like,
yes. So we talked like, do we think it's Chris Christie? But neither of us think that Trump likes Chris Christie enough
uh-uh.
to call him brilliant and super
No, because I
successful.
think
And
back in when they were running against each other the very first time, I think he had no problem calling Chris Christie fat on the campaign trail.
oh yeah,
Like,
but
being derogatory about it. So,
yes. So the funny thing about it is, if you ask Elon Musk's AI chatbot, which is called
shut up.
Grok,
Oh, okay.
Grok will tell you that it's all about Elon Musk. So
What?
yes. So um a X user called King
Yeah.
Christie says, let's ask this to at Grok, LMAO. Who is Trump referring to in the quoted tweet? And then he gives the quote. Grok responds with, it's likely that Trump was referring to Elon Musk in the quoted tweet. Musk has publicly
No.
admitted to using weight loss drugs like Ozempic and fits the description of a well-known, brilliant businessman. His international travel supports the price complaint scenario. Yeah,
Oh my
so
God.
apparently, and like this is why I tell you Twitter is like 100% about, oh yeah, it's definitely like Elon. But with that said, I mean, I just like to call Elon Musk fat is surprising, right?
Yeah, yeah. And this just shows the level of intelligence that our president holds. Because there
Right.
were so many other ways to have that discussion with the press about the
The drug
cost
prices.
discrepancy
Yeah.
between, which again, most of us are well aware of the gigantic gaping hole between what it costs to make these drugs and what you can get them for in other countries and what we're paying for them here.
Yes.
There were so many other ways for him to even talk about the quote fat shot drug
Yeah.
without doing it in the way that he did it. He did it to be provocative.
Yes.
He did it because it is derogatory and he loves nothing more than to belittle people,
Right.
even while he's giving backhanded passive aggressive compliments about how intelligent they are.
Yep.
And he also is so low IQ that he can't speak intelligently about anything.
Well, to your point, you know exactly when he is reading a script and
Yes.
then when it switches to him using his
Just
own voice.
freebasing. Yeah.
That's right. Because it is 100% clear that, oh, that's Trump. Like
Because
this
he
over
talks
here,
like
he's reading a speech, he's reading
yes.
a quote, he's reading whatever.
Because he
But
talks like a
as
12-year-old boy on a playground.
100%, 100%. And to your point, like he just can't help himself. It feels
Uh-uh.
like
Yeah.
I have the hiccups. I'm so sorry.
That's okay.
But he 100% can't help himself to just say these things that like, and this is in my mind such a difference between like Obama and Trump.
Oh my God.
I feel like
Yes.
Obama had the same level of common language, real talk to people.
Yes.
Like
Yes.
I felt like he could communicate with people in his own voice
Yeah.
in the same way that Trump communicates with people in his own voice. The difference is that Obama could have given that whole story without ever calling anyone fat. He could have
Yes.
been like, I have a friend who takes Ozempic.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was in London. It was $88 there. It's $1,300 here. He called me up. Why is that happening? I said, you're right. We've got to address this immediately. Like
Yeah.
that, Obama could have taken without ever calling anyone a name.
Yes.
Trump, for whatever reason, just can't
He
do it.
can't do it. He can't
No.
do it.
And so because of like, and I think he thinks it's because it makes him look funny. And I'm like, sir, you're not funny in any way. Like nothing
Well,
you say is hilarious.
and he always has to refer to how people look.
Oh,
He did
yes.
the same thing with like Linda McMahon
Oh,
or
yeah.
whoever it was when he was
Well,
giving the Presidential Medal of Freedom or whatever, because she was one of his big donors and he's talking about how beautiful she is. Like everything's on a level of ick and creepiness. Yes. And it's
because
all
it's all about your
surface level
looks,
bullshit.
always.
Yeah.
And that's, he always goes, and this is the other thing, is that he always goes for the lowest hanging fruit, right?
Yep.
Like when someone's fat, they know they're fat. They don't love the fact that they're fat. Like, trust me,
And they
I
can't
know you
change it
don't.
in 5 seconds. Like,
That's right. If you
yeah.
could change it tomorrow, you would, for crying out loud. If you
Yeah.
could take a shot that would make you skinny, you
Literally.
fucking would,
Yes.
right?
Literally.
And hello.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, like the lowest hanging fruit that you can insult somebody with is their looks. And
Yes.
on the flip side, it's like that's the easiest thing to appeal to someone as well. And that's what Trump always goes for because he's not smart enough to come up with the next best thing, right?
Yep.
So this is where like I know MAGA loves him for his ability to be like every man and talk in his own voice and say how he feels and all of those things. But at the end of the day, where I really struggle is the fact that like other people have done that well,
Yeah.
but not had to be a dick about it. And he just has to be a dick about it.
He has to be a dick about it. And I, one time during his first presidency, was having this same kind of conversation, but it was more along the lines of like really hateful shit that he was saying about people.
Yeah.
And I just said, if you think that his talk is real talk, that this is the way that, say it to somebody's face.
That's right.
Repeat what he says to somebody's face and see how fucking fast you get clocked for it.
Well,
Or how
and
quickly
see how you
lose your
feel
job
saying it.
when you go to HR, when
That's
they go
right.
to HR for it. Like,
see how you feel.
Yeah.
When as you say it. So
and you watch somebody's reaction to it. Yeah.
That's right. Okay. I have to tell you a story. I may end up cutting this because it's going to be a
Okay.
long, rambling story of a girl that's only had 3 hours of sleep, but I'm going to tell it anyway.
Okay.
You know, I live in a neighborhood that has an HOA.
Yeah.
And I am very active in my HOA. I love my HOA up to a point. Our next neighborhood over has this total guy who's a complete and utter douchebag. The front of his house has like 15 swing sets and patio table sets in this front yard.
Yeah.
He has a full-size pontoon boat and a camper in his driveway that are taking up all of his spaces. plus like a ladder and some other shit on,
What
like,
in
it's
the
just,
world?
yeah, it's insane. He also owns a van, a truck, and a car. He parks them so that he is just legal enough that he doesn't get ticketed, but it makes it impossible for a school bus, an ambulance, a fire truck to get through.
Oh
So the
no.
laws in Kansas City are that you have to be at least 10 inches from the edge of the curb. So you know how like you have your lawn and then you have
Yeah.
like your curb?
Yeah.
It's this edge. So he can be 10 inches from that
From
edge.
it.
And you have to be 10 feet from rear view mirror to rear view mirror. So he parks his cars opposite so that there are 10 feet between them, but there's not 10 feet across. And
Oh
so, like,
God.
multiple times do buses have to back up and go around in order to pick up kids. They finally had a petition. They put in no parking in front of his, on the other side of his street to
Mm-hmm.
prevent that from happening.
Mm-hmm.
So instead of just complying with it and parking the cars like
Mm-hmm.
on
Because
one
he's
side of the street,
entitled. Mm-hmm.
he went an entire block away from his house and is now parking them side by side again just to be a total asshole. That is the MAGA
Yeah.
mentality.
Yes.
That is
100%.
the I can do whatever the fuck I want. And
Yep.
as long as I am within the confines of my rights, I get to do whatever I want.
Yeah.
Go
It
fuck
doesn't
yourself.
matter how it impacts anybody else
Doesn't
or how
matter.
it. Yeah. Yep.
Even if it can cause life-threatening
Yeah.
emergencies to not be responded to fast enough, too fucking bad.
Yeah.
Even if it means our kids cannot get to
On
school
the
or
school
have to
bus.
wait in the
Yeah.
rain for a bus to back up and go somewhere else or out in the cold. Fuck them.
Mm-hmm.
They can
Mm-hmm.
fend for themselves. That is exactly
Yes.
the Trump MAGA mentality that
100%.
is absolutely fucking pervasive in
Yeah.
this country. And it's what makes, I think, all of us so
Infuriated. Yeah.
vehemently infuriated and
Yeah.
opposed to Trump and all the bullshit that he spouts.
Yeah.
And so to your point,
Because. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
no,
No,
go
no, go
ahead.
ahead. No,
No,
go. Finish.
I was going to say, to your point, like if you had to do that, like if I was parking that way and I had to face my neighbors
Yeah.
and then had to tell him, go fuck yourself, like, oh my God, I could
Yeah.
never, most normal people could not do that. Like Rosie O'Donnell, he called her all sorts of names.
Oh
I
God.
could
Yeah.
never walk up to someone and be like, you're a fat fucking blah, 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 blah.
Right.
Right. I wouldn't be
Yeah.
able to do that. And I can still say, like, this HOA guy is an asshole because he's displaying indications of being an
Yeah.
asshole.
Yeah.
But I would never be like, oh, he must be ADHD and like, you know what
Right.
I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
to insult the lowest hanging fruit is just, in
Yeah.
my mind, the worst.
Yeah.
What were you
And
about to say?
then
Sorry.
they're always the ones that are the first to scream when they feel like they're being impacted by someone else's actions.
Oh, yes. Yes. In fact, the no parking signs, he knows that our neighborhood had to sign the petition along with their neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
And so he purposely is parking his vehicles at the
In your
entrance of our neighborhood because
Wow.
he's been wronged. He's been
Yeah.
wronged. So
Yep.
of course I'm like looking for this guy on Facebook. I'm like, okay. And
Yeah.
so today he finally kind of fucked around and found out because he did not park his cars far enough apart and they towed him. They towed two of his vehicles.
That's fucking great.
And it is very clear that he likely does not have the money to quickly
Mhm.
get them out because at this point, the only car parked there is the van. So we will see what happens. We'll see what happens.
That's
But anyway,
hilarious. I love it.
okay. Speaking of people who are getting what they deserve,
Mm-hmm.
Robert F. Kennedy went swimming
Just a little
in
dip
in a shit creek.
in a literal cesspool with his grandchildren, which who's letting him around their children? I don't care if he's their grandfather. The man's a fucking loon.
Yes.
Why are you letting him around your children?
Yeah. So he said swimming in Rock Creek, a Mother's Day hike in Dumbarton Oaks Park with his grandkids, and a swim with my grandchildren in Rock Creek. Rock Creek is, I guess, it has high levels of bacteria and other infectious pathogens that make swimming, wading, and other contact with the water a hazard to human and pet health.
Mhm.
All district waterways are subject to a swim ban, which means wading too.
Yeah,
Um,
it's rampant with E. coli.
it's rampant with E. coli. It is a sewage run. It's got high levels because it's a sewage runoff. I just hope this man gets an infectious disease that renders
Girl,
him.
he's gonna end up with another brain-eating amoeba.
I know. I know. Like I really am hoping that's what happens. Like
I
I would.
don't like, what the fuck? Because first of all, that water has to have a smell to it.
Oh
It
God!
has to have a smell
If
to
not
it.
a film on top of it,
Yes.
right?
Oh yeah, like total scum on top of the water. Like,
Yes.
there's no way. No
Studies
way.
of streams in the nation's capital have revealed chronic elevated levels of E. coli contamination that exceeded DC's surface water quality standards. And that's been since 2021.
And I know that I am a fussy bitch. I know this about myself.
Yes, you
That
are.
I do not get in water that I can't see
Yeah, so I
through.
will.
I will
I
not
will
get
get in water.
I
I will not. I can see. I don't see to the bottom. I will not get in water that sewage runs off
Oh,
into
correct.
on the
Like,
regular.
I grew up
Now,
swimming in lakes and doing all of that, but now as a full grown adult, I'm like, huh, no, thank you. Not
I
doing
will
it.
say that, like, I get the fact that sewage runs off into the ocean. Like,
Oh, sure. Yeah, yeah.
okay, so there is a comfortable sewage to water ratio that
Ratio?
I am
Yes.
at some point comfortable to swim in, which I'm fine with.
Yeah.
But I have to say, when there are detectable and chronic levels of E. coli, that's when I say
That
no.
when your local officials are saying this
Yeah,
shit is not safe for you, do
yeah,
not. I mean, maybe everybody's just going to get fired at that at the,
yeah.
at the agencies now come tomorrow because they were reporting that he was swimming in this very clearly unsafe and unhygienic water. So now they're all going to lose their fucking jobs.
Maybe. Yeah, maybe. Like, who knows? It's kind of funny because, at the end of the day, he is known for some of his antics, including
Dumping a bear.
transporting a roadkill bear cub to Central
Yeah.
Park, transporting a rotting whale head on top of their car from Nantucket, which I
The
hadn't
man,
heard that one.
I hadn't either. He's
Yeah,
a
he's had
fucking
the,
lunatic.
yes, a brain eating amoeba. So who the fuck knows what's going to be next? But at the end of the day,
Well,
he's fucking
Maha's not
around. Let's
really.
see if he finds out.
Yeah, I mean, Maha's not really up and running that great yet, I don't think. So I don't know who's going to help him.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, this guy. Okay. Next, I want to talk about the new pope. So
Okay.
the new pope's American, which I think a
Yes.
lot of people are excited about. I posted on my Facebook page a joke about with the pope being Midwestern, is he the new ope pope?
Oh, just gonna skate
So
right past you.
for those of you who don't know, Midwesterners are very much a group of people that use the term "ope" all the
Oh,
time,
yes.
which I didn't realize until I was like, I'm going to start using. I'm going to see if I would say it out loud and then start typing it. And now every goddamn message, I'm like, "Oh, I forgot to do that. Let me go do that right now." Or,
That's
"Oh, I forgot to
hilarious.
respond back. Shit, here's my response." Like
That's
I say it all the
hilarious.
time. And
Yeah.
I never realized how much I said it until
You
I
say
started
it.
typing it. Now I
Yeah.
realize that like every response includes the word "ope." And so
Yeah.
I love the fact that Pope Leo the 14th
Yes.
is the Ope
Oh,
Pope.
Pope.
Um, but interestingly, he gave a speech at the
hmm
Vatican City, I think on Sunday. I'm going to guess only because that maybe Monday, but I was guessing Sunday. But anyway,
I
he
bet so, because it
addressed,
was also Mother's Day. So yeah, probably. Maybe it was his
yeah.
first one. Yeah.
So he reiterated the church's solidarity for seeking the truth. He urged the assembled press to say no to the war of words and images, and he reiterated the church's solidarity with imprisoned journalists seeking the truth and asked for their release.
Oh.
He concluded his address by quoting his predecessor, Pope Francis: "Let us disarm communication of all prejudice and resentment, fanaticism, and even hatred. Let us free it from aggression." So
Oh.
it feels like this is a direct hit on like the Fox News True Social narrative.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's true or not, but at least so far, a lot of his, because, he's tweeted a couple of, or retweeted a couple of articles, one that said that JD Vance was wrong and that Jesus doesn't ask us to like rank the people we love. And I can't
Yeah.
remember what the other one was, but all signs are pointing to the fact that, like, I wouldn't say he's woke, and I'm going to guess he's not as woke as Pope Francis was, but
Yeah.
the fact that, like, at least I feel that he is recognizing the need for freedom of speech, freedom of journalists,
Yes.
and, constant seeking of truth makes me at least a little bit encouraged.
Yeah. I
Um,
agree.
After that, News Nation's Robert Sherman asked the Pope, "Do you have any messages for the United States?" And the Pope responded with, "Many." And then he
Oh,
said, "God bless you all." So there's some controversy here because
over what he
everyone's
meant?
like, how cryptic is it that he said that he's got many words for the United States?
Mhm.
But there are some people that said they think that the Pope misheard it as, "Do you have any blessings for the United States?" And for that, he was saying many. So there's now like this coy, did he, didn't he?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Yes. Going on about whether or not he is admonishing the Trump administration and a lot of the things that they're doing, or if he just misheard and, yep, he wants to offer many blessings. So,
Mm.
so I loved that message from the Pope.
Yeah.
And I do hope he was actually saying he has many words for the United
Yeah.
States.
Me too.
We'll see what happens there.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's talk about Pete Hegseth.
Okay.
This guy.
This fucker.
This guy has decided to direct the Pentagon to remove all transgender soldiers,
Yep.
which is just disheartening. He said that he is basically saying that the department only recognizes two sexes, male and female. That he only recognizes pronoun, that individual sex is immutable and unchanging during a person's life. And basically, it says that the policy change identifies people that have gender dysphoria and labels them as incompatible with the government's high standard for troop readiness, lethality, cohesion, honesty, humility, uniformity, and integrity.
People who are transgender do not
Have
all
gender
have gender
dysmorphia.
dysmorphia.
Yep. I mean,
Those are two different things.
we're back to calling people crazy.
Mhm. Mhm. And not
Yep.
trusting them to know themselves.
So the good news is that we know that several attorneys general across the country have filed a brief on Wednesday to block the implementation of the ban. It looks like there were 21 attorneys general from across the country.
Wow. Good.
It included okay, in addition to New York, attorneys general from Arizona, California, Colorado, Connecticut, Delaware, Hawaii, Illinois, Maine, Maryland, Massachusetts, Michigan, Minnesota, Nevada, New Jersey, North Carolina, Oregon, Rhode Island, Vermont, Washington, and Wisconsin all signed on to the brief.
I love it.
So I do too. In all fairness, like 21 of 50 states, that's incredible, if you ask me,
Yeah.
at least. And it shows how little we are willing as a country, to put up with this war
Bullshit.
on
Yeah.
transgender people that is
Well,
obviously being
yeah, and
waged.
I saw his quote from his press conference where he said because they've got until January 6th to voluntarily leave. People that are in the reserves have until the 7th, or sorry, June 6th and then June 7th. But he said on conclusion of the self-identification eligibility window, the military departments will initiate involuntary separation processes. He went on to say, no more, so he was saying this at a conference hosted by U.S. Special Operations Forces. And he said, no more pronouns, no more climate change obsessions, no more emergency vaccine mandates, no more dudes in dresses. Now, I don't know that there's very many dudes in dresses running around in any of our armed forces. JAG attorneys who are female, identify as female, have to wear skirts to court. But other than, like, I don't know how often. So this whole like dudes in dresses thing, and I just come back to like, what are you afraid of, Pete?
What are you hiding? To
Yeah.
your point, like we have seen over and
Tell me
over and over
who
again.
you fell in love with.
Or
That
do
wasn't
you
who.
still like to wear your mommy's clothes?
Yeah.
Did you realize at a young age you enjoyed wearing your mommy's clothes?
Yes.
And because of that, you absolutely or and you and I have talked about this before. You know, it's very clear like the things that are very Trump versus the things that are everyone else.
Yeah.
I don't know that the transgender thing is super Trump versus super everyone else.
Yeah.
And is this like a Stephen Miller?
Oh, for
Mrs. Like,
sure.
right.
Yeah.
And I had a friend that texted me a meme today where we're no longer calling him Stephen Miller, we're calling him Pee Wee German, which I really
Yeah.
thought was amusing,
That's
even
great.
though I'm
Yeah.
German, so I take a little offense to it, but I'm not
Yeah.
one of those kinds of Germans.
Right.
But like, did he enjoy wearing women's clothes a little too
Oh.
much? And so this is like his agenda is to absolutely
Hmm.
wage war against our transgender community. It's just so fucking heartbreaking. It
I
really
don't
is.
know what the percentage is in our armed forces of our transgender personnel, but if you have people that are voluntarily signing up to defend this country and serve their country, why aren't we letting them?
Yeah.
Why does it matter? Why does any of this matter? All that should matter is that they want to serve their country and they are able to pass the fitness tests that they're required to pass to be battle ready or what, however that works. Like, I don't understand why any of this other nonsense fucking matters.
Yep. So there was an uh, study that was done through, I think, the Department of Defense.
Mm.
Maybe it was done through the NIH,
Oh,
National Institute of
Institute
Health.
of Health. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I do. I think it was done through the National Institute of Health, but they did a review of a subset of transgender soldiers and
Mm-hmm.
came up to the conclusion that they are above average on healthiness. They tend to have like fewer mood disorders.
Mm.
Most of them are going through gender affirming surgery of some kind, and that they are 100% fit for duty. And so to come back now and say, yeah, no, they are insane, so we don't want them, is absolutely agonizing. It's just so depressing.
I don't, eh, especially when the person sitting in the White House came up with every lie and flimsy ass excuse he could to
To
dodge the
not have to
draft.
serve. That's
Yeah.
right, to dodge the draft. So, going back to Pope Leo's comments from the other
Mm-hmm.
day, he said, "We do not need loud, forceful communication, but rather communication that is capable of listening and of gathering the voices of the weak who have no voice." So, I do love the fact that these attorneys general did put through a brief. I doubt it
Yeah.
will make any difference whatsoever, but I at least appreciate the fact that we are fighting the
They're
good fight to
trying.
try and, yes,
Yes,
at
we're
least
trying.
expose these people for the shittiness that they are.
Yeah.
Okay, the last item on my list.
Mm-hmm.
Trump's fucking airplane.
The Qatari, there are the Qatari. I've heard it both ways.
So have I. I still
Yeah.
say it Qatari and Qatar,
Yeah.
but like Jon Stewart says it Qatar.
Qatari. Yeah.
I don't like it. I like
Yeah.
Qatari,
Qatar.
so I will
Okay. Okay.
continue. But if someone
Okay.
wants to come at me in comments and be like, no, you're wrong, feel free.
Yeah.
So that's how I pronounce it.
Yeah.
Yes, Qatar is giving Trump a plane
Yes.
that is considered a palace in the sky.
Mm-hmm.
It is 2 stories, has the largest master bedroom of any flying vessel, and has 9 bathrooms.
Why?
I don't know. So a couple of things with this.
Uh-huh.
Of course, Trump loves it. And he came
Well,
on
yeah.
in that same press conference where he talked about his fat friend. He talked about how, well, if Qatar wants to give me a plane, I'm not going to say no. That would be stupid.
Yeah, that's what
They
you're supposed
have
to do.
said, so there are like a few big problems here. Number one, he's getting a bribe, like period,
Yeah,
point blank.
100%.
He
'Cause he
announced today,
right.
like,
Mhm.
right. He's talked about changing the Persian Gulf to the Arabian Gulf. He's talking about like Syria and
He lifted
anyway,
all the sanctions on Syria today.
that's right. Not to
Yeah.
mention the fact that Eric Trump, whatever, has announced that they're building a new hotel there.
Yep,
And
and golf course and all this shit.
exactly,
Yep.
exactly. So 100% it's a bribe.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah.
Number two, he wants to use it as Air Force One. And then after he leaves, it's donated to his presidential library for his personal use.
Mhm.
Okay. To get it to the security standards required for an Air Force One level to meet Air
Mhm,
Force One
plane,
level
yeah.
standards is going to cost hundreds of millions of dollars. They said that they will basically have to strip the fucking plane
Yeah.
down and rebuild it to make sure that it addresses all the security concerns. Because, I mean, Trump is so fucking stupid that
Yes.
he would just take the plane and start flying around in it and have
100%.
like secret meetings and secret like conversations,
And the
and
government
the
of
whole
Qatar
fucking
is gonna
plane
have
could be
it
bugged.
bugged.
That's
Yes.
right. And he
Yes.
would be so
100%.
fucking stupid that he'd just be
Yeah.
like, yeah, what? I'm sure the Qatar people haven't put, stuff on the plane.
Exactly.
No, I'm sure it's
There's gonna be
what?
cameras just like in his hotel rooms in Russia. Like,
Indeed.
and now he's gonna yeah, and then he would be getting blackmailed by the government of Qatar.
Or
Eh,
bombed. He could
well, yeah, that
literally
true.
get fucking
Yeah.
bombed because he's that fucking stupid.
Yeah.
Okay,
There's
so
so many
there's
issues with
that.
this.
And there is a congressional law that says you have to get approval from Congress to
Yes.
accept the gift.
The emoluments
And,
clause. Yeah.
and Trump has period point blank said, even though he would likely get approval, has said, I don't need to do that. Go fuck yourself.
Exactly. Yep. And everyone needs to remember that taxpayer dollars are being spent on 2 new Boeing
Yep.
747s to replace Air Force One because Air Force One is aging and they
Yep.
do need to replace it. So if he accepts this plane and we're going to spend taxpayer dollars to get it service ready, which it's not going to be service ready anytime during this presidency because it's going to take too long.
Yep.
And then he's going to take it with him when he goes. And we're still going to have spent and need the 2 Boeing 747s that are already being worked on
Correct.
for the next and future presidents. Like,
Correct.
all of this is a fucking grift. And then he's in Saudi Arabia today with that fucking horror. And I need everybody to remember that the government of Qatar funds Hamas,
Yep.
funds terrorism. And then he's in Saudi Arabia today. The Saudi Arabian government hates the Qatari government. You know, this fucking jackass sat down with the
Yes.
crown prince and was like, hey, this is what the Qatari government gave me. What you gonna do for me?
100%. And we're seeing the Saudi Arabian government, if you can call it that,
Yeah.
doing everything they can to try and impress Trump in order, to your point, I am positive, to get him on their side because they know that he is a what have you done for me lately
Yeah.
president.
Yeah.
Even MAGA faithfuls
Yes.
have
Oh my
called
God.
this corrupt.
Yes. Yes. I have a quote from Laura Loomer, but you go right ahead.
No, tell me what Laura Loomer says about it.
So it's interesting because they're turning on him over this. Like, Charlie Kirk has come out and made comments, like all the things. So Laura Loomer said, is America's best interest being served, or is it the best interests of the Trump organization? Laura Loomer has criticized the move, and this is where her Islamophobia, racism, her true bigotry comes out,
Yeah.
calling Qatar jihadists in suits and accusing them of funding Iranian-backed groups like Hamas and Hezbollah, which is true, they do.
Nope.
Groups responsible for killing U.S. service members and allegedly working with Mexican cartels. Loomer warned that accepting the $400 million gift would seriously damage the administration's reputation. And she said, I would take a bullet for Trump, but this cannot happen. They cannot do this.
Yep. They even at this point are saying that, like, just to go in and verify that there's no foreign software on the plane alone, just to do a sweep is like a $10 million process.
Oh
They're
my
saying
god.
that the cost to do this, yes, I mean, is at least
It's gonna
hundreds of
cost
millions of dollars.
as much as the fucking plane costs
Yeah. Yes.
of our taxpayer dollars. But everyone bear in mind, your daughters don't need 30 dolls.
Exactly. Exactly right. Your daughters don't need $30. But to your point, like, the whole argument is, oh, it saves us money to get a free plane. But
It
you're
literally doesn't.
exactly right. And this is like the fallacy of Donald Trump
Yep.
is, well, it's a free plane. So this is what it is. When if you just look at one level deeper and
Yes.
one piece deeper and say, okay, but if you're going to take the plane with you, we're going to need a plane after you are gone.
Yeah,
So we're
we
going to
can't
have to
just not
continue building the
exactly.
planes that we already built. Like it just takes that one little
Uh-huh.
step.
Yep.
And this is what MAGA faithfuls and Trump just cannot fucking do is
Yep.
take that one additional step to say, oh, yeah, that's right. I do need to da 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 da,
Yeah.
whatever that is.
And
Like,
it was
that
interesting
is the
because
problem.
Josh Shapiro was saying, who I can't fucking stand that guy, but Josh Shapiro was saying, if this was Biden, we would
Oh,
be
God.
screaming from the rooftops. So we cannot allow, like, this is not making America great again. Like, this is not, and I'm
No,
like, this is who he is, guys.
that's right. Like, do you think that this is not Donald Trump? Like, what,
Right.
what, what, what rock are you living under that you don't understand
Exactly.
this? But
Yeah.
they've all bought into that whole, oh, he's
Yep.
make America great, and they I
Yep.
think actually believe him. The
Yep.
ones that are not having a problem are the ones like JD Vance, who
Yeah.
doesn't believe anything he says, knows exactly what his motivations are, and are
Yep.
taking their orders from someone else and
Yep.
just kissing the ring and then staying in power. So
You got it.
okay, anything else on your list that we forgot to talk about?
I have two things really quick.
Yeah.
One is I got a news alert that West Virginia coal miners are losing access to free black lung screenings as part of Trump's budget cuts.
Stop.
They slashed funding to the National Institute for Occupational Safety and Health. The screenings were conducted through the Coal Workers Health Surveillance Program, but Trump's budget cuts to the Department of Health and Human Services led to the firing of 2/3 of the staff at
Shocking.
the NIOSH, and as a result, they must stop providing new medical screenings and review requests for job transfers to less dusty areas, which were vital for the miners' health and safety. They also managed a program that allowed miners to transfer to the less dusty parts of the mine if they were diagnosed with black lung, providing a crucial opportunity for those at risk to continue working, just not in the area of the mine that was
That has
causing
the
them to be
worst.
sick. Yes.
Right. Well, that's
But
making
that's
America
going away.
great.
Exactly. So there's Maha for you.
Well, in all
Um,
fairness, like they voted for Trump, so they're fucking around and now they
well,
found out.
now they're finding out. Exactly.
Mhm.
And so the other thing I wanted to talk about really, really quick was head Nazi, PB German,
PB
um,
Sherman, yes.
Stephen Miller
Oh, yes.
publicly stating that they are actively looking at suspending the writ of habeas corpus, which is not the suspension clause, Article 1, Section 9, Clause 2 of the Constitution. The privilege of the writ of habeas corpus shall not be suspended unless when in cases of rebellion or invasion of the public safety may require it.
Yep.
Our Congress is the only one that has the power to suspend habeas, not the president. It's
Right.
only been suspended 4 times since the Constitution was ratified in 1789 during the Civil War. And then in 11 South Carolina counties overrun by the Klan during Reconstruction, in 2 provinces of the Philippines in 1905 to quash an indigenous rebellion against colonial rule by the U.S., and in Hawaii after Pearl Harbor was bombed.
Well, that's a list that you want to be on, and
Correct.
and certainly it's absolutely like justified by
Yeah.
our
So
immigration.
that's the thing, right? Like, just because you keep saying that our southern border is being invaded by immigrants doesn't make it true and
No,
doesn't fit the ramification or the justification for
that's right.
suspending habeas corpus.
That's right.
But this is what we're going to do so we can declare martial law, right? Like,
100%.
mhm.
And this is exactly what they were talking about doing in the first 100 days. So it
Yes.
absolutely would not surprise me in any way, shape, or form. But the one thing I can hope for is the fact that Trump's approval rating is in the goddamn toilet. Like it
Yes.
is in the fucking toilet. It's worse than it ever was, even in his first term. And
Yeah.
if he does that and then institutes martial law, there will be some impacts to MAGA
Yeah.
voters. And so it'll be interesting to see what happens
Yeah.
100%.
That might be what it takes to get the don't tread on me folks off their couch.
We'll see. We will
Yeah.
see what happens.
Yeah. That's all I had though, other than what we already discussed.
Okay. Give us our happy ending.
Happy ending? Okay, here it
Yes.
comes.
Okay.
A teen girl battles jellyfish to complete a 27-mile swim.
Oh
Okay,
my
listen to this.
God.
Okay, so New Zealand's Cook Strait is considered one of the most dangerous stretches of open water in the world.
Okay.
Strong winds can produce violent storms, massive waves, and unpredictable currents. Jellyfish litter the surface of the water. Sharks lurk in the depths below. 17-year-old Maya was determined to cross it. The California teen is hoping to become the youngest person ever to complete the famous Ocean's 7, the most daunting open water swims across the world.
Oh my
She's
God.
a Berkeley native. She swam the English Channel last summer. She's crossed the Catalina Channel near Los Angeles and a channel that I cannot pronounce because I'll butcher the shit out of it in Hawaii. In
Okay.
April, she took on the Cook Strait, which also required facing her biggest fear, jellyfish.
Okay.
So
So how many she's done? 4 of the 7?
she did, okay, English, Catalina, the one in Hawaii, and then the Cook Strait in April. Yes.
So she only has 3 left?
I think so. Yeah. So the Cook Strait separates North and South Islands of New Zealand. Marathon swimming guidelines only allowed her to wear a swimsuit, not a wetsuit for her attempt, which left her really exposed to the jellyfish,
Vulnerable,
obviously.
yeah.
The ocean currents made her swim twice the distance of the actual strait, turning a 13.67-mile swim into a 27-mile swim.
Girl.
Every few strokes, she got stung.
Oh
The
God.
welts piling up on her arms, face, nose, and lips. The currents kept swirling. She had to stop every 30 minutes to eat, with the exertion of the task requiring a regular calorie intake. She did persist. She saw a few shooting stars light up in the New Zealand sky above her. After 14 hours, 8 minutes, and 36 seconds in the water, she stepped onto dry land, completing her 4th of the famed Ocean's 7.
Girl.
Listen to this. One of the motivating factors that propelled her along the way was an ongoing charity fundraiser she created because she survived a benign pancreatic tumor in 2023.
Aww.
And one of her close friends is also a cancer survivor. So she linked her swims to the nonprofit group Swim Across America, raising over the years over $150,000 for pediatric cancer research.
Oh, I love that. Okay, Swim Across
Yes.
America. We all have to get on Swim Across
Yes.
America and donate.
So she graduates high school this year, starts
Fuck.
college in the
She's
fall.
still in high school?
Yeah, she's 17.
Girl.
Yes. She starts college in the fall, and then she's going to turn her attention to the remaining 3 Ocean 7 challenges. The Strait of Gibraltar,
Oh my God.
separating Spain and Morocco, the North Channel between Ireland and Scotland,
Okay.
and another strait in northern Japan. If she can complete them all by January of 28, she'll become the youngest person to have ever done it.
Girl, can you, okay, I used to be a swimmer and I love swimming, but I have to tell you now, if I have to swim to the end of the pool and back, I'm breathing heavy.
Yeah.
I mean, it's that's a lot.
Yeah. Can you imagine fighting the current that's already doubling your 13.6-mile swim and then the damn jellyfish?
Okay, I'm going to look up what's the hardest
of the 7?
Of the Ocean's 7.
7, yeah.
Oh, the North Channel is widely considered the hardest of the Ocean 7 swims. It's a 21-mile swim known for heavy seas, cold water, jellyfish, and strong currents.
Yeah, so she still has to do that one. Yikes.
Oh, God. All right.
No,
well,
thanks. Good luck to her, though. We're proud of you, even if you don't accomplish it. You have made it. You've done major things, Maya. Good for you.
Good luck to her. You are exactly right. And I will go out and donate to, what is it, Swim Across America?
Swim Across America, yes.
Okay. All right.
Yes.
We'll have to do that. Awesome. Yeah. Good job. Good job.
Yeah.
All right. Well, it's been a crazy week. We hope you guys are staying positive
and sane.
and saying
as much
that
as you
you are
can.
not getting only 3 hours of sleep and then you wake up in the middle of the night and your brain can't shut off because, oh my God, things are going
Yes.
crazy.
Yes.
Good luck to all of you if that is the experience that you're
Yes.
having. But regardless,
Go
thank you
get the
guys
fat shot
all.
drug.
Yeah. And
One of your friends
Viva the
had.
fat shot. Yes. Viva the fat shot. Indeed.
Yes.
That's
Yes.
exactly right. Okay, we have a Facebook page, so please feel free to comment on any of the videos that we post there. Of course, our videos are available on YouTube, or you can listen to podcast versions on all of your favorite podcast app. We appreciate you all for listening. We
Yes.
love you and have a fabulous rest of your week.
Yes.
Bye.
Bye.